Hey collective. I'm sorry my video cut off. Somebody called in and the phone cut off. But thank you for joining me back on the channel. This will be considered the second part of the video previous. Anyway, they said the debris by the year of 2100,000 will be will be orbiting back and dragged back toward the earth. And they said it was like 1 million of pieces of space junk up there. That's including the satellites. So if it's 1 million pieces of space junk just up in space, that's about to orbit back toward the earth due to global warming, reducing the cooling in the space. If it's 1 million pieces on this earth, I believe the last time that I heard, there's about 8.5 million people. So that's the third pieces of space junk versus the people here on this earth. It's about a third of it. It's 1 million out of 8. That leaves 7 million people will or won't be affected. But that also means if it's 1 million pieces and there's like almost 8 million people on the earth, then a lot of people are going to be affected by the debris returning back here to earth. Now they did say some of the debris will burn up on the way coming back through the orbit, through the atmosphere. But they also mention that depends on the numbers. It depends on numerous reasons, though. That there are 1 million of pieces of space junk, and 1/9 of each inch size or larger being pulled back toward Earth, entering its atmosphere, can carry the impact of a bullet being shot, or a piece the size of a blueberry, can create the impact of a falling anvil or a minecraft. An anvil is considered a minecraft. And I know you're going to Google and look this word up, and I would ask you to do that also. But if you're my age, even older, or even 10 to 20 years younger than my age, you remember the cartoon. I remember looking at this cartoon when I was growing up younger. It's a cartoon called The Roadrunner. Even, I know none of the Z generation will remember this. Even the X generation barely will even remember it. You're going to Google it. If it's any Z or X generation listening to me now, the cartoon Roadrunner. They presented the Acme Corp with the Roadrunner bird. The Roadrunner bird was very smart and intelligent, and he had these intuitive powers that he can sense when there's danger and trouble or something happening. Versus the dumb desert coyote who always trying to catch the roadrunner because he wanted to eat him. But the whole season or series of cartoons, he never was able to catch the roadrunner because he was always being hit and stopped by an anvil, either dropping on him or dropping just in front of him to where he run in and crash and knock himself out. There's an anvil was in that cartoon. Now, to many of you, this is not going to mean anything, but I used to teach my children when they were younger and they wanted to watch television and watch certain cartoons and movies and shows. I used to tell them, I don't know how I knew this, but it was so real to me to tell them this and to teach them this. I said, do you know if they can make a movie out of something that's not normally seen or either out of this world or something abnormal, that it is truly real and really happens? And I told them that, and I constantly let them know that. Of course, I didn't let them watch very much television because me as a child, when I grew up, we wasn't able to watch television every day, all day, whenever we want. There was no remote control. And matter of fact, this cartoon that I talk about, the Roadrunner cartoon, it was only shown on ABC and CBS on Saturday mornings. This cartoon, when it first came out in the year 1949, it was only broadcast on Saturday morning, not doing any other weekday, just Saturday. It was broadcast starting in 1949 from Warner Brothers production all the way to 1973 or 74. They had 3 seasons and 26 episodes. Of course, they were all repeated and shown, and it was from Warner Brothers. So to this day and year right now, while I'm speaking about this cartoon that showed the picture of an anvil just dropping out of the sky, just dropping from nowhere and hitting the coyote, crushing the coyote, or dropping it right in front of the coyote to where he smashed into it, or just dropping out of the sky and the roadrunner gets on top of the anvil and drops down with it while it comes down. This was done 75. This cartoon came out 75 years ago. It was aired for 25 years prior to this year and this date. So you're talking about 50 years ago since the last show of this Roadrunner cartoon was shown. The scientists just now are speaking about the space debris, and that when the debris starts entering back into the earth, toward the earth, and on the earth's surface and atmosphere, a size of a blueberry can create the impact of a falling anvil or a Minecraft. The impact, that's a very huge impact for a very small size piece of space debris. So, this is the second part of what I began earlier. Speaking about the space debris, they said we had to the 2100,000 year before they will, with the global warming continue as it is, and the warming and the cooling of the atmosphere, that they predict that the space debris would start heading towards Earth. Some of it will burn as it enters its way back to the Earth's atmosphere, and they're saying majority of it won't.